I keep getting asked, how do I feel about these tariffs? How do I feel about people getting losing their jobs? How do I feel about Trump in office? How do I feel about all this stuff, right? So I'm not going to be that person that says, "Hey, well, this is how I feel about this president. This is how I feel about that president." I honestly, I don't care. Like, personally, I feel like most of these presidents are all the same. Most of these people, whatever, all sit in the back room and they do what's best for their pockets, and everybody that's in our Congress, House of Representatives, Executive Board, branch, all that stuff, right? But here's my thought process with this, right? America produces nothing, right? What do I mean about that? I mean, like, if you was to be able to go back into the 30s, the 40s, the 50s during the Industrial Revolution, America produced everything from steel to oil to cars, lumber, everything, right? Whatever we needed, we got it for cheap. I mean, we made it ourselves, right? That was just the American way. Everybody went to work. Everybody got up. They went to work. They did what they had to do. In my way, way, that's why, like, a lot of times, you always had, the male in the household that went to work. He worked in the factory. He worked making steel. He worked to be able to bring something home. I mean, he worked to create something that the everyday American use, while the wife, stay home with the kids, raising them up, right? But what happened was that the United States figured that they can be able to get a lot of equipment, they can get a lot of goods, they can get a lot of services by getting other people in other countries to do it for cheap, right? And so you look at this Canada situation. Canada provides most of the lumber, a lot of the steel. And when you think about lumber, how do we make our houses, right? They make, I think, 60% of all the automobiles that come into America. They produce it, right? And then, so as you look at that, as far as Mexico, everything that we put in our system, from the avocados, not everything, but a lot of things that we put in our system, from the avocados to the fruits to the vegetables, it all come from Mexico, right? You look at a lot of the natural minerals, that comes from the continent of Africa. You look at a lot of the services that we have, our customer services, customer service jobs that we have, right? That's coming from the Philippines. You look at a lot of the other customer service jobs that's coming from India. You look at a lot of the tech jobs that we have that's coming from India as well, right? And so you look at a lot of the things that makes America run on a daily basis, right? All of this is outsourced, right? And the purpose of me saying that is, yeah, it allowed, what that allowed was, it allowed large companies to become very, very profitable, right? So it allowed companies to go from $1 million companies to multi-million dollar companies to billion-dollar companies, and then, recently you see this explosion of a lot of trillion-dollar companies, from Nvidia to Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and I don't think Tesla has hit Tesla has hit $1 trillion as well. And so as you look at these companies that has you look at all of these man, I'm seeing a bug get tore up outside by like 100 ants. This is crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. I got distracted right quick. But if you, like, look at a lot of the goods and services that America have, then none of it is produced by. A lot of it is not produced by actual Americans. A lot of it is not, right? And then, so what happened is that now, now, as we in the current environment, what is this? March the 5th, March the 6th. Now, that we're in the current environment where we're having this tariff go against China and Mexico and Canada, and these trade wars that's going on, and we already know that a lot more tariffs is coming against other countries, and tariffs will be posed against America. The problem that I have against that, right? And again, I don't care about these presidents, man. Presidents don't care nothing about me or you or anybody, right? What gets me is that America doesn't have the infrastructure to actually sustain itself to be the bully that it's trying to be. And what I mean about that is, how are you going to tell Canada, hey, we want to enforce tariffs, 100% tariffs against cars that's coming in, or 25% against lumber that's coming in, but what factories in the United States are actually producing cars and building, I mean, creating lumber at mass, right? So if you look at Canada and you look at all of the trees that they have, because they just have an influx of land that the United States don't have, right? Because most of America, things are built on it, right? But if you as you look at where are we going to be able to build these cars? You know, back in the days, you seen those car factories that was in Ohio, right? You seen that it was in Detroit. You seen these factories that built steel and other things all within the Midwest, right, of the country. Where's those things at? Where are the factories to be able to create that, right? And then so as you look at creating tariffs against other countries that actually produce the things that America has bought for so cheap for so long, is going to create a lot of heartache, not for necessarily the big companies, because the big companies, they could just raise their prices. You know, hey, look, a house that was, you know, 400,000 today, tomorrow it'll be 700,000, it'll be 750,000, and you know, you have no other choice but to be able to convert and have a mindset that, damn, this is what this house costs now, right? But what is going to hurt is the everyday American, right? And I'm not saying for the long term that it won't be good, because yeah, if we can be able to actually create jobs and bring factories back to America, bring a lot of jobs back to America that is outsourced, that has been outsourced over the years, then sure, you know, who doesn't want a economy that there are plentiful there are plenty of jobs, and everybody could be able to work and nobody have to go through the struggle like they're going through right now, right? Because as you can see, whatever, mass layoffs everywhere, right? And the problem is people always been laid off, but it was always easy to just recoup that with just find another job. But what happens when you can no longer find another job because the infrastructure of the job market is not there, right? And then so as we look at the current environment of where we're at, right? AI takes over a lot of jobs, right? And I'm not one of the anti-AI perfect people, but I'm just kind of like pointed out there. AI is taking over the jobs. A lot of the customer service jobs are outsourced, right? A lot of the building jobs has been, you know, has not paid a lot of money, and that's where, you know, this whole immigrant thing came from. You know, a lot of the homes and a lot of the things that has been built was built by, you know, a lot of the immigrants. You know, that's what you see on that's what you see on the construction site, right? And then so you're saying, hey, we want to be able to pay we want to be able to pay low wages, or we want, yeah, we want to be able to pay low wages by outsourcing a lot of this information, but if you're not equipped to be able to pay the livable wages that Americans need, because the cost of living and inflation has went up so much, then what are you doing? What are you doing in that situation? And that's the problem that I have with everything. That yeah, if companies in America is going to put in the money and say, let's build these factories that's going to build the cars, let's build these factories that's going to or let's build these institutions that's going to teach carpentry at a high scale, right? So you could be able to teach the younger people to you know, go into carpentry to be able to build houses and know how to do electricity and all these things, right? So if if you're willing to be able to build the infrastructure, then that's going to be able to make for a stronger America in the future, right? But currently, we're going to suffer a lot. We're really, really, really going to suffer a lot, because You're causing a country that lacks jobs. You're causing a country that lacks the infrastructure, and we're so comfortable with not having to sweat in the fields to be able to pick the strawberries, and pick the fruit, because we're getting it from Mexico, and we're not used to, going out into the forest to create the lumber and go into these factories anymore like our grandparents did, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? If we're not doing that anymore, then you got to be able to you have to be able to create the infrastructure, and I keep repeating that. And I guess I'm looking at Mr. Kitty where it say, do you want Greenland? Are you referring to what do you mean by Greenland? Are you talking about Greenwood, like the Black Wall Street from back in the days, Mr. Kitty? we'll get We'll get back to that in a minute. And how you doing, Peyton? Thank you very much. I'm glad that I'm able to tease something. These are just the things that was on my mind. Oh, you saying Greenland, as far as like having the having land to actually be able to get lumber. All right. To my second point, and this will be a short point here. Um, I'm not a fan of pissing off your next closest neighbors. Like I'm in a neighborhood right now, house right here or whatever, and that's like me going and pissing off the neighbor to my left and pissing off the neighbor to my right, and making them upset, right? What sense does that make? Like, America spends so much on military, and they spend so much on uh on um on weapons, and for getting a strong military base, right? But in my mind, in my opinion, right, one of the greatest things that you have is you have two allies to the top of you and to the bottom of you. And to be able to piss off those allies, that's not a good thing at all. That's really not a good thing, because your next closest ally is who? Where all the way in the UK, all the way across the pond. So it's not a good thing to be able to do that. America is putting everyone in a bad situation right now, or the leadership in the country is putting everybody in a bad situation right now, because everybody know that the American dollar is what fuels the world, right? And when you look at the situation that Canada would be in, whereas now the largest trade partner got to be the UK or Europe, right? Now they have to be able to pay so much more to send their goods over to the UK, right, or to the Europe, sorry. And if you look at Mexico, Mexico has been an ally of the United States for a very long time, no matter what the rhetoric and the news it says, right? And so I'm hoping for a positive negotiations. I'm hoping for that we have a diplomatic conversation between the leadership of America and our two closest allies in Canada and Mexico. I'm hoping that we can be able to build a strong economy, whether it's through building the infrastructure that we need and the skill set that we need to be able to move forward for the next generation and the generation that we're in now, that's currently in the job market. So I'm hoping for all of these things. I want to be able to know y'all thoughts. Tell me what it is that you have in mind. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Tell me if I'm missing something. Excuse me. But it's going to be some pain. It's going to be a lot of pain right now, and I'm hoping that we could be able to get past it without a lot of things going wrong. And what I mean about that is, anytime that you put yourself in a situation whereas people don't have jobs, crime is going to rise. Anytime that you put people in a situation where you say, well, the cost of food is so high, then you're going to you're going to have people that go out and they're going to do anything by any means necessary, right? Or who's going to let their kids starve? Who's going to let their parents, starve, right? And so people are going to find a way to feed themselves, feed their kids, feed their parents, feed their loved ones, right? When you put yourself in a situation where housing is not affordable and people have to be able to live together and they might not even like each other, guess what? Now you got domestic abuse going to a higher level. Now you have people that now you have a situation where people are more depressed and anxiety is at a higher level, right? I don't know. Maybe it may be a good situation. America has been through bad situations before. Maybe it'll be a way of everybody coming together and saying, hey, we need to be able to actually come together and build our communities, and make things happen together. And we can't really depend on the leadership of the company. Maybe this is a wake-up call for the everyday American. I hope that we could be able to make this happen. All right, y'all. Have a great day. God bless. Thank you for tuning in.